2 years after Picard ended, I want Star Trek Legacy more than ever. When Star Trek Picard aired its final episode 2 years ago, it felt like a proper goodbye, not just to Jean-Luc Picard, but to a whole generation of Star Trek heroes. The third season was a nostalgic roller coaster, giving longtime fans one final voyage with the entire Next Generation crew. We got closure, heart, and a glimpse of what the future of Star Trek could look like. And that's precisely why, 2 years later, I find myself aching for Star Trek Legacy more than ever. Because Picard didn't just wrap up the past, it handed the torch to the future. A new crew, a new era. Almost, Picard Season 3's final episode didn't just end with a smile and a toast in 10 forward, it teased a future that looked genuinely exciting. The rechristened USS Enterprise G, now under the command of 7 of 9, felt like a fresh beginning. She wasn't alone. Raffi Musiker as her number one, Jack Crusher as the eager young liaison, and a ship filled with potential new stories hinted at a new kind of Trek, one rooted in legacy, but boldly moving forward. Fans dubbed it Star Trek Legacy, and the demand was immediate. This wasn't just a clever title, it was the natural evolution of Picard's final act. It was TNG's children, figuratively and literally, stepping up. And while the idea hasn't officially materialized into a full series, the need for it has only grown in the 2 years since. What legacy promises that other shows don't? Right now, Star Trek's future is spread across timelines. Strange New Worlds is excelling in the pre-Kirk era, balancing nostalgia with reinvention. Lower Decks and Prodigy have carved out their own niches in animation, mixing comedy and youth-friendly optimism with canonical respect. But Legacy promises something distinct, a continuation of the 25th century timeline that honors the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, without being buried by them. It's the only show that could finally show us the long-term effects of Dominion war trauma on the galaxy. It could explore the fallout of the Borg Queen's final demise. It could give us real-time progression for fan-favorite characters like Captain Seven, Admiral Janeway, and even Worf, who clearly has more stories left to tell. And it wouldn't need to lean heavily on old cameos. Characters like Sydney LaForge, Alandra LaForge, and Jack Crusher are young, dynamic figures who can shoulder new plotlines. Legacy could explore generational shifts in Starfleet, the evolution of Federation politics, or the consequences of AI rights following the events of Picard Season 1. No other Trek show is in a better position to tackle those issues. 7 of 9 deserves her own captain's chair. It's still wild to me that 7 of 9, once a Borg drone, now commands the Enterprise. Her arc, from Voyager's isolated outcast to a battle-hardened Fenris Ranger to a Starfleet captain, is one of the richest in Trek history. But we've only scratched the surface of what a 7-led mission could look like. What kind of captain is she? What moral codes does she bring to command? How will her past as a Borg and her disdain for bureaucracy influence her decisions? These are fascinating questions. 7 isn't a copy of Kirk or Picard. She's something new. And Legacy could make her the face of a more morally complex Federation, grappling with post-war ethics and the very definition of what it means to explore. The fanbase has never been more ready. Star Trek is in a moment of reinvention. Audiences are more diverse, more engaged, and more open to stories that challenge the status quo. Legacy has the bones of a character-driven drama, the spectacle of a space-faring adventure, and the potential for cross-generational appeal. Plus, the ending of Picard wasn't just a finale, it was a literal pilot. The bridge was set, the crew assembled, and the mission teased. Engage, 7 said. And then, silence. No announcement. No green light. Just a fandom holding its breath. And we're still holding it. Waiting too long risks losing the momentum. 2 years may not sound like much, but in Star Trek time, it's an eternity. Cast availability, audience interest, and continuity relevance are all at stake. With each year that passes, the direct connection to Picard's finale grows fainter. The buzz dies down. The cast moves on. We risk losing the magic moment when nostalgia and newness were perfectly balanced. Terry Matalas, the showrunner of Picard Season 3 and the mind behind the Legacy concept, has already proven he can honor Trek's past while steering it into new territory. All he needs is the green light.